Welcome to the Amphigory Effect podcast with your host, Zach Brackett, and your co-host, Justin Marlowe. Let's begin.
And one of the guys gets turned in like a monkey.
The computer turns him into a monkey?
Yes, because it's like a super turbo computer, right? It
What?
can do anything. And the titular character, sort of, his thing is the computer takes away his mouth. So the name of the story is I Have No Mouth, and Yet I Must Scream.
Ooh.
Spooky, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Super torture.
Welcome to the Amphigory Effect podcast. We're trying to make sense of this nonsensical world. Justin, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Glad to be here. Very
Yeah, I'm excited now. Yeah, this is like, I get to look at the camera and stuff.
Yeah, pretty cool.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, you should be.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding. I'm no hate.
YouTube's fun. We're very pretty. We're
Yeah.
attractive gentlemen.
Yeah, so we're trying to bump up the YouTube-ness. You'll find links to that in this show if you're listening to the podcast version. We also have a Patreon now that is at AMP Media, patreon.com/AMP Media. That'll be in the description as well. And we've talked about Patreon a little bit, so I'm not going to go into a whole spiel about what it is. But essentially, you can help us out by donating money when we make stuff. So that's really cool. And both of those tie in to what might have been one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my life.
I think it's the greatest, or it's soon to be the greatest.
Oh, man, this is bad. Okay, so you guys know, if you don't, I'll explain it really quick, about Plastidip. It's like a plastic polymer paint that you spray on stuff out of a spray can.
It's like rich man spray paint, kind of.
Yeah, and it goes on like a plastic. Well, the team and I were talking the other day about what can we do to make us let's get more people, right? More subscribers, more Patreon members, all that stuff. And someone had the bright idea. I think it was Anthony.
Yeah, it was Anthony's idea.
Stupid. He had the idea to Plastidip my car. And he
What kind of car is that, Zach?
It's a brand spanking new 1995 Suzuki Sidekick. It's almost as old as I am.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Commonly confused with the Geo Tracker, I'm told.
yeah, it's pretty much the same vehicle. Like, you can get a book on the Geo Tracker and fix your Suzuki
So a
Sidekick.
pretty sweet ride.
Oh yeah, I'm bringing in all
About to
the
get
ladies.
sweeter.
Oh yeah. So the deal is, and I had to make a deal because they just wanted to do it for YouTube, period. And I said no, that's too easy. So it's up to you guys a little bit whether this happens or not. You see behind us, I don't know how clear it is on the video, but I'll take pictures and post it on social media and stuff. It's a board that says Patreon on one side and YouTube on the other, and it's kind of like a thermometer where we go up to raise subscribers and members. So the deal is, guys, if we get 50 YouTube subscribers or 10 Patreon members,
Whichever comes first.
whichever one comes first, we don't care. I will let them Plastidip my car, and we'll video it and post it so everyone can see, and it'll be hilarious, and I'll drive around with it. I won't just rip
actually
it off.
gonna drive around.
I'm going to drive around, and we're going to get video of that too. So, again, the deal is 50 subscribers whenever we get it, or 10 Patreon members. Now, the good thing about being a patron, though, is if you become a patron and we get either 10 or 50 or whatever, we're going to let you pick the color. Now, we have a limited color scheme because Plastidip only does a certain amount of colors, but you guys can pick. And also, we'll do something cool, putting your name on the car or something weird like that if you become a patron. So go check out those sites, get whoever you want to subscribe. If we get to 50, and we're already at 11 right now. So that's
we're practically there already.
We're
guys.
almost. We might as well just do it.
I know you people want to see this, you savages. So
Yeah.
just go ahead and
So-
just click subscribe. It's super easy.
Yeah.
Just go to YouTube.
Just
it's fine.
get your mom, get your brother. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, same. I don't
Just
have any
getting your
friends.
Yeah, we just get your family to do it. So before we jumped in this episode, I just wanted to give that shout out. We'll give you updates every week on the social medias and other things. So watch out for that.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin, what are we talking about today? Let's get into it a little bit.
Okay, today we didn't want to go into any great detail with any particular topic since we're still super busy with school and
Yeah.
all our new projects going on, but we wanted to touch on some science topics. We wanted to kind of, peruse the web and see what's going down in the science world. So we got some cool topics to talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy stuff that we found over the
Yeah.
last year. So these are all really recent. All this stuff is happening right now, and it's going to be really cool. I felt like I learned some stuff. And again, we didn't even go super deep on the topics, but
Definitely. Just kind of the kind of topics kind of let you, remind you that the future is here.
it's here.
It's now.
It's here now. It's happening. All right. So what's our first one, Justin? Give it to us.
The first one, we have a a guy in, I think, the Netherlands somewhere that's having what's called a click-on prosthetic arm. And what's unique about this is that it's actually like grafted onto his bone in a way that allows him to control it with his nervous system, which basically means thought, like you'd control kind of like a normal arm.
Every sci-fi movie ever.
Exactly. This is the future where, you know, you're running around, some dude steals your purse, and you point your robot arm at him and launch it off like a rocket, and then it grabs your purse and returns it to you.
I just think Star Wars every time I hear something.
Yeah,
about
I guess that's
you know, like
yeah.
no, you know.
Well, I mean, we're almost there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost there.
So
So okay,
cool.
so what does it click on? What is that like? Is it just meaning like it's going on his bone? Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like the simpler types. It's just sort of like
my
plug on
my
there.
brain like went to. Did you ever play with Bionicles
Yeah.
or stuff like
I
that,
have
where you
one.
just go and
On a
like
bedside
the arm
table.
goes on? You just
Yeah,
go.
it's
click.
exactly like that.
It's exactly like
Except
that.
it's a robot.
And you can just like twist your arm and pop it off and put on a new extension like Mr. Gadget.
I think more like, was it RoboCop that had the arm?
Yeah,
the
yeah,
arm you
yeah,
could take off
yeah,
and turn
yeah.
into a super gun.
See, I think
I think that's where we're headed.
I think that I would allow myself to be if we ever get to the point where you can have like a utility knife on your hand at any time and just like pop off accessories, you know, that wouldn't be the worst thing ever.
I mean, what I wonder about is when athletes, you know, start having robot body parts. Like you can't be a quarterback in the NFL unless you have a throwing arm
normal-
attachment. Yeah, made by Honda or whatever.
But would it be that way, or would it be you have to be still human? Or would that be a different like?
Well,
so you know how you have arena football? That's
yeah.
like it'd be like robot football or something.
Well, yeah, it'd be that way for like the first couple of generations, but after a while, there's not going to be anybody that's all natural because it's just inferior.
Oh, yeah,
so I
that's true.
mean,
like steroids, everyone's gonna be able to take steroids eventually.
yeah, sure.
It's gonna happen.
There's going to be gene therapy. That'll be like steroids you can't detect or do anything about because otherwise you'd be discriminating against people.
Man,
That's a can of worms.
Man, that's awesome. Okay, I'll jump into the next one then.
Yeah.
All right,
Number
so
2.
topic number 2. There's this unique womb-like environment that they've created here in the U.S. for baby lambs, like premature lambs, and essentially,
Fetuses,
yes,
if you will.
fetuses, yeah. So essentially, the future version of this would be very, very like fetuses, human fetuses, would be able to be sustained in this outside of the mother's body. And so you said earlier when we were talking about this, we're one step closer to the Matrix.
Yeah. Harvesting our body heat and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, but I think like just applying that to the world right now, that's really cool. You know, you won't lose your child because of complications in very early stages of pregnancy.
Yeah, according to that article we checked out, premature complications, like premature birth complications, are actually the leading cause of infant mortality.
Well, that makes sense.
So, yeah, I mean, so this could be a huge deal.
So I guess what would happen is when they found out they were having problems, they would go in kind of like C-section wise and get the baby out and then immediately put them into an artificial womb or something like that. Now, here's a like sci-fi version of my brain that says, so can we eventually like clone people and grow them in a test tube?
I mean, sure, absolutely.
That's the next thing, right?
We already, like, speaking of lambs, you know, we already have a cloned lamb
Right.
that we know of.
Exactly, but that was
My
like,
thing is, like, does this mean that as a man, I can reproduce without a woman? All I need now is an egg, right? I don't even need
you're
a
still
womb
gonna need
anymore.
an egg though.
Yeah,
The egg still comes from a
eventually we're gonna have to get around that somehow, right?
woman. You just want to be completely.
Can I
free
just
of one.
like pick one out of a dumpster that nobody's using or something? Like there has to be a way.
Please
right?
don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's saying.
I just whatever, man.
You just want to be. You
I
want
want
to
to be a one-man family.
You want to have a one-man family, single dad all the way.
I
I guess that's
yeah.
admirable in a sense.
Sort of.
If you just don't think about it too much.
Yeah.
If you close both your eyes and look the other way.
Most of my thoughts go that way. If you don't think about it too much, it sounds better.
All right. So that was the womb. Now the third one I have is the evolution of dog breeds. Now,
This is pretty cool.
yeah, it stuck out to me because I love dogs. I have 3 of them now in our little tiny house, and it's awesome. But
That
This
1,000-yard stare, it's awesome.
it's amazing. I love it so much. No, they're really great. And I always want to learn more about dogs, how they think. Like there was a movie that came out recently, I think, Dog's Purpose or something, where it was like reincarnation of dogs or something. I don't know. I didn't see it. I haven't seen it
sounds
yet.
a little out there.
I wasn't gonna pay to go see it. I'll pay $1 to watch it on Redbox or something, maybe, because my wife was all like freaking out. It's the one that was in the news about.
I think I heard about this.
Yeah, they said that there was they were mistreating the German Shepherd or something
Oh,
because
really?
someone took like shots of the video that were out of sequence and chopped it up to make it look like they were torturing the dog when in reality they did an investigation and everything was fine. That what happened was they put the German Shepherd in the water and didn't want to be in the water. So they stopped filming and came back later when he was more comfortable, but they only saw that part, so they thought that they were torturing him. Anyway, I love dogs, and I think this is really cool. So now they're thinking dogs followed man over the Bering Strait before it was covered in water. And
so that's a big deal because it kind of changes, like puts in, for one thing, it makes it seem that, dogs have been domesticated for a super long time.
Yeah, and the fact that they, it says here, the map of dog breeds was largest to date unearths new evidence that dogs travel with humans across the Bering Land Bridge and will likely help researchers identify disease-causing genes in both dogs and humans. Wow.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, that is really cool. I'm always interested in learning more about how dogs work, and I think like that early in time, they were already starting to follow man around and kind of like be their best friend, man's best friend.
Yeah, kind of crazy to think about.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing more about what they find in this. But our main topic for today.
I just hope that this confirms that corgis are the greatest dog breed of all time. And if you
dogs.
agree with me,
oh my goodness,
please let me know on social media.
Every corgi picture I ever find, I send to Justin.
My favorite is the one with jean shorts.
Why don't you have one yet? Why don't you have one yet?
My girlfriend won't let me have one.
Oh man,
she says our apartment's not big enough.
That's why you want to be independent of women.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
Yeah.
She says I can't have one until she gets a ring. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's so stupid.
So then you gotta buy a ring and then a corgi.
No, that's not how it's gonna work.
That's not how it's gonna work.
But let's okay. Let's continue to our fun topic.
This one, and we saved the most time for this because it's
the most fun to make fun of. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and that is. Justin, I'll let you do it since you're the one that wanted to talk about this in the beginning and got me psyched up.
Well,
for it.
guys, hundreds of years ago in the distant past, there were people that thought that not only did the universe revolve around the Earth, but the Earth was actually flat and not a sphere.
Yep,
or an ovoid sphere.
That was a long time ago, wasn't it, Justin?
That was a very long time ago.
No one thinks that way now, do they?
Actually, you might be surprised. There are people that still believe that the Earth is flat, and they have some incredibly in-depth explanations for how it's possible. That are absolutely hilarious.
It really is. Like there, and I know a couple of people. Albert, for one.
Yeah, guy from work.
A guy who works with us. He likes to say that he believes in flat Earth. I don't believe him.
I don't think he
just likes
it, no.
he just likes poking at people, making them angry. But the only people that I've known that actually say they believe are people like that who just want to get under your skin and make people who take facts very seriously get very angry at this. But tell us a little bit more about this. So is it just people just believe that there's flat Earth? How do they describe flying around the world?
That's the first thing that comes up, right? Well, if it's not round, how do you explain the North and South Pole, for example? That's the first thing that comes up.
It's a conspiracy.
They actually envision it, right, as a disc. The world is a disc, like a pizza, and the crust around the outside, that's your South Pole. Yeah. So there's a giant wall of ice, kind of like Game of Thrones, but all the way around, right? Surrounding the edge of the Earth. Right. And that's what keeps all the water from falling off into space.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously it would, right? If there was no ice blocking it. And that's why no one's ever actually been to the mysterious South Pole. It's because there is no South Pole. All of Antarctica is just a giant ice wall. Allegedly.
Okay. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. So there's this disc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I'm actually looking at a picture of it.
Yeah, I encourage you guys to go out there and check
Google. I'll put the links to the articles that we found, but you can't really find a super scientific article on flat Earth because there's no not scientific really super scientific
to support it.
But if you go on Wikipedia or something like that, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I found a picture on Wikipedia, and it's actually really cool. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah,
now.
The idea is really neat, actually.
So it's like the ring of ice is out on the outside, and the Earth slopes in and then back up a little bit
to the North Pole. Which is in the center. Because
I was wondering if the South Pole was
right.
Over there,
where does the North Pole go?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it a little bit of your rising DiGiorno pizza right in the middle. That's where it starts. So the Earth is basically cooking at 400 right now and starting to rise.
Yes,
nice.
I think you're going crazy with that analogy.
I love it, dude.
But this is how people explain things like, oh, well, how come there's a horizon? I mean, if it was round, the world wouldn't just fall away. But when I go to the ocean and I look out, the sky meets the water and it just stops. That's because the world's flat. Duh, dude.
Duh,
it has
come
nothing to do
on.
with curvature and angles and stuff.
So then, how do they explain?
Like, for example, there's a very large tower in Dubai. I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but if you're at the base of this tower
You can see
versus
the
at
curvature
the
of the Earth?
well, hold on in a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Versus at the top, the sun actually sets at a different time because of the angle of the Earth. Right.
Whoa.
So how do you explain that? If you believe in a flat Earth, I do not know.
Well,
I have no idea what the sun is supposed to be doing in the sky if you believe in a flat Earth.
So what's the okay? So
That's
you
what
got to
really
think
gets
though,
me.
the flat Earth, right? So we have this side that we're on. What's
on the other side? Heaven, hell,
That's a horror movie waiting to
probably.
happen.
You find if you really dig down with these people that do believe in flat Earth, a lot of times, like Albert, we were talking about at work. I asked him like, okay, so how do you explain the moon landing? Oh, it's not real. How do you explain GPS satellites?
No,
Oh, they're not real. Okay.
Well, how do you get to
Right.
Yeah.
If it's not real, that means someone's faking it.
right?
So who's faking it?
And
Oh,
why?
the government. And why? Why?
Yeah.
Who benefits? Right.
So
What he said was,
I think I know where you're going with this.
it's it's Satan basically
Oh,
doing
really?
it. Yeah.
That's not what I thought he said.
to trick people into not believing God's word.
See, I thought he was saying there was like a secret society, and then on the other side of the Earth,
Well, yeah, but they're satanic.
right? But on the other side of this flat Earth, there's like a promised land, like heaven almost. And I think I read this somewhere else. Maybe that's where I'm getting it from. But it's like, so the people want to keep us on this side because there's not enough room on the other side for everyone to enjoy.
Well, Zach, think about this. If gravity works and that it just pulls you down, right? That means if you go to the other side, you'll just fall off. It's just a bunch of monkey bars. Otherwise, you'll fall. I mean, there's nothing actually
Maybe they
there.
maybe they made a some kind of support structure where that doesn't affect you anymore.
So it's like a sort of a
Yeah.
gazebo
Come
type
back,
deal
yeah,
or
it's a
something.
reverse gazebo where you're standing on the ceiling.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Come on
That
now.
could be cool.
Stay with me.
It kind of reminds me of Majora's Mask. You ever play that game?
Mm-mm.
They have like a dungeon in that game where you can flip it upside down, and if
Oh.
you're standing in the wrong place, you'll just fall off into the sky and die.
Nice. I think there's a lot of games that play with gravity like that, and I've seen some where you just fly off into. So that'd be cool, man. That's how to weed the ones who don't truly believe, right?
Absolutely.
You just turn the gravity off and
Yeah.
fly away.
You want to ask them like, is the Earth round? And then you want to ask them, how old is the Earth?
Yeah.
How long has it been baking?
Been baking in that oven.
About 6,000 years is the correct answer.
Oh, come on now. Come on. All right. So, yeah, flat Earth is pretty ridiculous. But how do you think all these, like, fit together? Do you think there's a theme, like a central theme? I know we just randomly, like, just looked on the internet and found some. So, like, are there some that seem to go together at all for you?
Well, I think that it's kind of, like, emblematic of the times we're living in, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
With
that
the
makes
Trump thing going on, we have we're living in this world where nobody knows what's true anymore.
Yeah.
Where we're spreading lies as alternate truths or whatever. So, I mean, to see actual science coming from hospitals and stuff, and then talk about flat Earth in the same breath, I mean, we're kind of doing everything that's wrong with the world right now. We're terrible people.
I know. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But at the same time, like, I think the questions that raise from the first three and then reading Flat Earth is, like, I think it's kind of what you just said is, like, they're not on the same level, obviously, but there are people out there who believe that Flat Earth actually is a thing.
I will say one thing for Flat Earth. I think that one of the, like, it's like a good exercise. If you think you know a lot about the world and the universe, trying to think about exactly how to disprove what they're saying can be a really good exercise and a way to increase your own understanding. I remember I was talking to Albert one time, and he was like, when you get on an airplane, you know,
they just fly around for a little while.
It flies up. Why does you hear about the Great Circle or whatever, where you won't fly directly from point A to B. You sort of do a curve.
Right.
And there's a bunch of different reasons for that, but how do you explain that with a flat Earth, right? It's just strange.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he was asking me a question like, if you're on a bus, or say you're on the plane still, and it starts to get up to speed, and you jump up in the air, why don't you just slam into the back of the plane?
I have thought that before. Yeah.
Well, I
Please
can actually tell you
because
that.
I'm simple-minded.
It's inertia, right? I'm sure
Yeah,
hopefully
I've
our
heard of
viewers
inertia.
have heard of inertia.
Yeah.
When an object is in motion, it wants to stay in motion, and when an object is at rest, it wants to stay at rest. And what happens is, if you are on that plane, for example, and it's going like taxiing down the runway at 40 miles an hour, you're standing on the plane, but you're actually moving 40 miles an hour. Actually, you're moving even faster than that because the world is rotating, and you're sitting on top of that. So you're moving super fast. I think the world moves at something like 17,000 kilometers a second or something like that. So that's why when you jump, you carry that momentum with you, and you stay in place rather than getting smashed into the back of the plane and dying or something. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's a great question. That's something that people don't think about a lot. But if you just ask that question, like, wait a minute, why don't you, when you jump on an elevator right as it starts, why do you feel like you go higher?
Yeah. You feel that pit in your stomach.
Yeah, you can, I mean, if you just think about that kind of stuff, you can increase your own understanding, or maybe, go and find the answer and learn.
Yeah. So, I mean, that makes sense. It's things like this that we think, oh my goodness, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah, you shouldn't just dismiss
but it's not
them out
it,
of hand.
Yeah, it's absolutely not. Like, I guess
lazy.
It's okay to laugh because you just think, that's dumb. We know the Earth is round, but then you ask yourself why. And I think that's important with all your belief systems that you have, whether that's religion or politics or anything.
Definitely.
Is if you can ask yourself why. Why do I believe this thing?
Because it's really easy to scoff and say, oh, that's stupid, and be wrong.
Right.
And not even know it.
Right. And so, like, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Oh, no.
And I know that me and you have had this discussion before.
Okay.
About creation versus evolution and how those things work together. But you, before on the show, 6,000 years, you know what I mean? But and I know from personal experience with you that you don't do that often. Like, that's not, we've had educated conversations, but just for an example, stuff like that, you don't just want to scoff it off without
you're right.
evidence.
You're absolutely right.
Now I know that.
And I did do that, yeah.
But at the same time, we've had educated conversations about it, and I know that
maybe we'll do that again sometime.
Right, and that'd be a good episode, I think. But at the same time, that's something that we need to try to stay away from. And I did the same thing with Flat Earth at the beginning. Yeah. I think we both did a little bit.
Yeah, we did,
just
absolutely.
saying, what is that? That's stupid. Obviously, it's round, but we never.
Yeah, you're right. I think in a normal conversation, maybe that's okay. But I think when you're on a podcast like this, that's not the time or the place
and I think that
to dismiss ideas out of hand.
I think we've grown a little bit today, Justin.
I think we have too, Zach.
Stepping forward.
You did a great job.
And talking about why we believe certain things and why we don't. And you've helped me with the whole inertia thing, because I had no idea. I've always asked that. I've always asked, like, why, if you're in a car and you toss something to someone in the back seat, why doesn't it just go whoosh, right back?
That's the thing about physics. Like, you can learn a lot of cool things about the world and a lot of like, oh, I get it now moments. Right. But taking an actual physics class, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. It's horrible. But if you can get on YouTube or something and search up some videos on topics you're interested in,
right?
So you can get the concepts without having to like get bogged down in the formulas and stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's why I like getting some media that does that, like some podcasts or YouTube channels or stuff like that does like simplified versions of it. So that I
think
can
for the
understand.
average person, that's definitely the way to do it, because
we all don't want to be theoretical
physicists. I sure don't.
Absolutely
I sure
not. Yeah. So, Justin, I think this was a really good episode. I like talking about some science stuff. I'd like to get some people on here, maybe from some universities that
would be cool,
that know their physics and know their stuff.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to talk to like someone with some background in like quantum mechanics or something. That'd be great.
That'd be really cool. So, guys, stay tuned. Check out our YouTube channel and Patreon. Please subscribe to everything we have going on right now. Crazy stuff. If you want to see my car get plasti dipped, go and subscribe.
Please, pink and green, guys.
Pink and green. Maybe I'll even if there's more than one patron, maybe I'll even let one pick the tire colors and one pick the body colors.
I'll draw whatever you want on there. I'm very bad at art, so it'll look really bad.
Really bad. Yeah. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Don't mind the sweat, guys. It's like 1 billion degrees in here.
It's really hot.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.